Guys, in today's video we are going to be making a basic pant block. Here on the table I have my waistline, I also have my hip line, my crotch line, my knee line, and this is the full length of the pants, okay, or trouser, whatever you choose to call it. All right, so at the sides I have my baseline. As you can see, I have 2 inches there as baseline for the side, and above it I have 1 inch as the baseline. So we are going to start this project with our hip measurement. So I divided my hip measurement by 4. That gave me 11.5. that is 46 divided by 4, you get 11.5. and then I rule out my lines like this. Okay, so now we have sort of a square. So at that line, at the crotch line, I'm going to mark 10 inches. Now my waist is 36. Okay, so divided that into 4, I'm going to get 9 inches, but I added 1 inch for that, it's 10. So now from that waistline I connected to my hip line. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark in my crotch extension. Now for the crotch extension, you are going to divide your hip measurement by 20. This is for the front pattern. For the back, you are going to divide by 10. So after dividing, I got 2.3, and I marked 2.5. Then I connect my crotch extension. So now I have 14 inches, and I marked out the middle of my pattern, that's 7 inches. I'm going to mark it all through. So I marked at the crotch line, the knee line, and also at the hem line. So after marking, the next thing I'm going to do is to connect my lines. So I'm going to use my ruler to do that now. So guys, forging ahead to the knee area, my knee measurement is 21 dividing into 2, that's 10.5. This 10.5, I'm going to divide it also again into 2, and I'll get 5.25. I'm going to place this 5.25 in the middle of my line, and I will mark out as seen. Okay, so this is the middle of my knee. So now I'm going to connect from my crotch line there, as you can see with my armhole curve. I'll connect down to the nail line. Okay, you can also use your straight ruler to do this. Okay, use your straight ruler to do this if you don't have your armhole curve with you. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to mark out my ankle measurement. I'll divide that into 2. Okay, so after dividing, I'm going to place the middle part of it, and I'm going to mark out as you can see. All right, that's 6.5 divided by 2, you will get 3 1/4, right? So that was what I marked out at the down part of the trouser or pants. So if you have your long ruler, you are going to connect from your hem line up to your nail line. So I'm not with my long ruler now, that's why I'm using this tape. Like, I can't even find the ruler. Okay, so you can also use your tape. You just have to be careful while doing this. Okay, you still achieve the same thing your ruler is going to do for you. So guys, once you are done ruling our lines, we are going to forge ahead to the upper part of our front pants. Okay, so at the crotch line there, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. Okay, and at the side I'm coming up by ½ inch. Did you see that? Now I'm going to mark out my dart. I'm marking out 4 inches as my dart. Then I'm going to mark half inch beside it, okay, and then I will use my ruler to draw out the lines. So guys, once you are done drawing your dart line, the next thing you are going to do is to mark out the lines at your waistline. You remember the 1 inch we came down with and the half inch we came up with around the waist area. Okay, that is what we are marking out. Okay, now that we are done with that, the next thing we are going to be doing is to mark out for the back. So guys, at the crotch line I'm going to mark out 1 inch, and at the waistline I'm going to mark out 2 inches. Okay, and after doing that I'm going to rule my line. All right, so this will serve as my baseline for imputing my waist measurement and my hip measurement. Okay, you remember the 10 inches measurement for the waist and 11.5 inches for the hip area, right? So now I'm marking in the 2 inches I took from the waistline and also the 1 inch I took from the crotch line. Okay, but the thing is that I marked this at the crotch line at the side here, so this was supposed to take place at the hip line. Okay, so take note of that when marking out yours. Okay, then from there you are going to connect from your waistline to your hip line, and from your hip line you are going to connect to your nail. So now the next thing I'll do is to mark out the crotch extension for the back, and like I told you guys, I have to divide my hip measurement by 10. That way you will get your crotch extension for the back. So initially I used my free hand to trace for my crotch and finished up with my armhole curve. Later on I finished up with my armhole curve. Okay, so now I'm connecting from that point to my nail line. Okay, so this is for the back. Remember, we are drafting for the back, so I'm going to connect from my hip area, that is supposed to be my hip area, to my nail. Okay, so I'm cleaning that up because I don't want that side to be very pointy, so just have to smoothen and blend as you mark out your lines. Okay, again I'm going to use my tape to connect from the hemline to the knee area. Okay, and after doing this we are going to work on the waist for the back. So guys, as you can see, I added another pattern piece so I can finish up with the back. So I came up by 2 inches at the crotch line there. This is for the back pants. Okay, and at the side I also came up by ½ inch. Do not forget that you have to come up just like you did in the front, right? So after doing that I'm going to connect my lines. So after connecting my line, the next thing I'm going to do is to mark out the dart for the back. Okay, so now I'm going to be taking the dart for the back 4 inches. You guys remember we took 4 inches even for the front, and I came down by 6 inches for the back. Okay, the dart intake for the back I came down by 6 inches. So I'm going to connect the legs or my dart lines. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to do is to use my marker to mark out my back lines. Okay, this will help us to differentiate our back pattern from the front pattern. So guys, now that we are done tracing, now the next thing I'm going to do is to use my tracing wheel to trace the back, okay, onto another pattern at the back of this very one that you are seeing. Okay, I placed another pattern beneath it. Okay, so after tracing, just have to take your time and trace carefully. Okay, remember we are tracing only for the back. Okay, so after that we are going to mark it out onto the new pattern now Okay, so I'm going to do that and I'll show to you guys also. So guys, this is the tracing of the back pants. Okay, I'm almost done. Okay, so after tracing, this is what it will look like. Did you see? So now it's time to cut out our pattern piece. Okay, so we are just going to follow the lines while we cut out. Okay, so once we are done cutting out, I'm going to cut out my front pattern. Remember, we didn't add any allowance to this pattern. Okay, like the ½ inch allowance we are supposed to add to it round the pattern. Okay, so if you are cutting on your fabric, endeavor to add your ½ inch seam allowance all around your pattern piece. Okay, all right, so this is the front. You notice that I modified the dart area while I was cutting out. Okay, so you just have to look carefully, observe carefully, do whatever you see me doing. Okay, so guys, if you enjoyed this tutorial, please give this video a thumbs up so that more people get to see it. Okay, subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed. Do that now. Also click on the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a new video. So here we have our front and our back pattern together. Thanks for watching. Bye.